Good morning, and good morning to you all. It is Thursday. It's a sad Thursday. The 2022 version of October the 7th. A very sad day, guys. I've just uploaded a short. The first thing I did when I woke up this morning after seeing the sad, tragic news of the passing of our fitness coach, the Marine, Piero Ventrone, a much loved member of the Tottenham community, the Tottenham club, the Tottenham family. Despite the fact that he spent his days making the players feel physically sick, you never heard anybody, once they caught their breath, saying anything but wonderful things about him. Heung-min's son especially had fostered a really, really close bond with the guy. And it's tragic. Leukemia was the cause of death, apparently. At such a young age, 62. It's really sad. Really sad. And as I said on the previous short, my thoughts and prayers go to his family and his friends and everybody at the club who will be, I'm guessing, in shock this morning. Tragic, real tragic. It's difficult to shift the narrative away from that into things that are more club related and football related, but I'll do my best. First and foremost, I am Sean Butler. This is the Spurs Talk Show, and you're back here with me and my co-pilot Bugsy Malone for episode 61 of Tottenham Walks. I hope everyone's doing really well this morning with the people that they love doing, whatever the things they love doing. Super sad, isn't it? Kind of takes the sting out of anything that's going on in your own life. You know, you had a bad day, get over it. You've got tomorrow. Yeah. Guys, I do want to update you about some injury news, unconfirmed, but reports are plentiful this morning. Videos flying around Twitter are seeing Eric Dier walking off the team bus after the Frankfurt game. I say walking, it was much more of a very heavy limp. Not good. Really not good news, because he's the one guy that we don't really have a replacement for that would be ideal. Ben Davies and Clement Longley are interchangeable, and there hasn't been too much of a drop-off in quality when one has moved out of the team and the other one's come in. In fact, if anything, I would say that the quality of late in the left centre-back spot has improved under Longley, which is a good thing to see. But with Eric Dier in the central side, it poses a problem. We have six defenders in Japhet Tanganga and Davinson Sanchez being the kind of fifth and sixth choice. Japhet Tanganga hasn't played and been this season. Recovered from a long-term injury and surgery at the tail end of last season. Hasn't played any minutes, at least in the. I think he played in the pre-season, but not in the league or the cup so far. And Davinson Sanchez, when he has played for Tottenham, either in pre-season or in the season, he has played at either right-sided centre-back or left-sided centre-back. So, look, there's no confirmation. He might have just stubbed his toe, or I don't know, stepped on a bit of glass or something, for all we know. And it could be a flesh wound, and he could be okay for Brighton. But I suspect it's more than that. And it adds to a really long list of little niggles that we've had at the start of the season. Nobody's talking about those things. Whether you're somebody who is frustrated with the transfer window, whether you're frustrated with the style of play, the performances, however you want to allocate any responsibility or accountability for that, I don't really hear many people mentioning the fact that we have been very unlucky with legacy injuries, reoccurring injuries, or just injuries to more than one player in the same position. And that's a problem. But yeah, if Eric Dier is the next one on the list, then it will probably mean, in my opinion, that you have a few options. In the presumption that he's not fit for Saturday against Brighton, which is only 48 hours away. You either play Davinson Sanchez in that position and then have Romero and Longley left and right, or you move Romero into the centre and play Davinson Sanchez on the right, which is an experiment because I don't remember Romero playing centre of a back three at all last season or since he's been at Tottenham, and I would be lying to you if I knew in detail his positions when he was at Atlanta. And I think with Argentina he plays in a back four anyway, so that's a different setup entirely. Or maybe you go to Longley and put Longley in at central centre back, and you put Ben Davies back in. Again, another experiment. We haven't seen Longley play in the middle of a back three. He played on the left of a four or the left of a three at Barcelona and the clubs before then. So all of those options are experimentation. Or you bring in Japhet Tanganga, the least likely option in my mind. But you would bring him in and play him in the centre, but he's traditionally played as a right back of a four, not even a centre back, a right back, or on the right side of the three as well. So in any shape, with any selection, we're playing somebody out of position in the centre. Here's my takeaway on that, right? Conte could then go to two different styles. One of them, which I would like to discuss before I make my mind up on whether I think it's even a viable option. I'd like to hear the community kind of foster their thoughts as a group, because I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure whether we have the personnel for it. But to go to a back four and put Sessegnon at left back, Matt Doherty or Jed Spence at right back, and then have Longley and Romero as a back four. Untried for Tottenham, or you could even put Ben Davies at left back, I guess. We haven't done back four much. I think we've done it once for a 15-minute spell against Chelsea. It got us the goal from an offensive point of view because it was a 4-2-4, but we looked wide open. So if you're even going to contemplate that, you have to go 4-3-3, and the three players that would have to be in front of them would have to be Højbjerg, Bissouma, and Bentancur. But because it's so radical, it's something so out of the ordinary to what we're practicing on the pitch, on the training grounds, I just don't see it happening. But there is that option, and if they have been practicing that formation at all, then you could go to like a 4-2-3-1 formation, but just make sure that the two in front of the four, spend their time plugging holes and protecting. Or if he wants to stick with the three at the back, if Eric Dier's out, given the fact that there's going to be somebody playing out of position, whether it's Tanganga or Sanchez, or whether it's Longley coming in and Ben Davies going over on the left, etc., again, because it's so untested and experimental, for me, regardless of whether you go flat 4 or stick to your 3 but experiment with the formations and the players, I think you have to go a 3 across the midfield, because Brighton at home, I know they've got, you know, a new manager, so it's not the same. You can't really look too further back historically, but in the first game that their new manager was in charge of at Liverpool, Brighton were free flowing, and when they had the ball, they terrorised Liverpool's defence and scored 3 goals. You know, Trossard, I think he got only the 3rd hat-trick ever scored in the Premier League at Anfield. The other 2 coming from Peter Unlöv. If you remember him, for people that are my age or older, Peter Unlöv, the Zimbabwean striker. I haven't thought of him for so many years. And Andre Arshavin, the Arsenal player, who I think he actually scored 4 in one of those games Arsenal played against Liverpool at Anfield. Anyway, I digress. Brighton, if you give them the midfield, they will run at you and cause you all sorts of problems. And people like Gross and Trossard are super tricky, super talented players that could cause us all sorts of problem, especially at their ground. So for me, if there's any truth, which I think there is, to the idea that Eric Dier won't be fit, and even if he plays, he won't be fully fit, whichever formation, whichever players we play in the back 3 or back 4, whatever happens, I think you have to go 3 in midfield on Saturday. I think you have to, because if you can control the midfield, you can control the game, or at least have you know, a larger share of the ball. And just given the fact that we're going to be vulnerable because we are experimenting on some level in the back, we need to have more ability to control that midfield. And I don't think that's too much of an ask from Antonio Conte. I really don't, given that he would have to drop somebody, or rest somebody, bench somebody of the front 3. And as I said it a million times now, if you've only got 3 strikers that you trust, then you shouldn't play all 3 of them at the same time, unless you absolutely have to, and we don't absolutely have to. Bissouma is fit. The excuse that was given after the Arsenal game was, people were saying go to a 3-5-2. I couldn't. Bissouma was injured after his international duty. That wasn't the case for Frankfurt, and Conte still stuck with his trusted 11. That's his prerogative. It's frustrating to me, but it is what it is. And, you know, Sonny, Kane and Richarlison all dropped the ball on the night. None of them were good enough. None of them finished their dinner. So for me, the idea that you have more vulnerabilities at the back, you have injuries up front to Lucas and Decky, and you have some bad form to use as a justification for changing things up, there's never been a clearer cut and more justifiable. Hi guys. Never been a clearer cut and more justifiable rationale for putting 2 up top. We're away from home. It's a very, very tough game against Brighton. A really tough game, guys. And if they win, they go level with us on points. If we win, then everything is very pretty and the narrative shifts very quickly towards positive momentum, despite having to handle and navigate the complexities of multiple injuries to same position players or injuries to players that we don't have adequate replacements for. So that's why I would do it, 3-5-2. Now look, I know that I can already predict, if the news is true that Eric Dier's out, it's going to be part of the conversation over the next couple of days. And for 100% certainty, if Tottenham lose the game against Brighton, the narrative will pivot back to the transfer window, and it's Daniel Levy's fault, and ENIC's fault, and Paratici's fault, etc. Because we didn't buy enough replacements in key positions. And you know what? You know, the chickens might come home to roost. Everybody, myself included, who is somebody that is known in the micro channels of the community as being someone who, you know, defends Daniel Levy when it comes to the argument, for what it's worth. I'm not a defender of Daniel Levy. I kind of just don't view the argument about Levy out the same way as everybody else who's on the other side. But myself included, everybody knew not signing another centre-back was a massive gamble and something that we didn't have to endure. The same with the right wing back, and the same with the creative player. But centre back was crucial. And if Eric Dier is out, then that one does fall on ENIC, Paratici, Levy, etc. 100%. We ride our luck. And look, I don't have a massive problem with Davinson Sanchez. He's not top 4 quality, and we're a top 4 team aspiring to be a top tier team, and we don't have top tier talent in several positions, but certainly as a central centre back of a 3, we have nowhere to go if Eric Dier's out for any meaningful period of time, and that is a problem that lies at the feet of the management, the upper management. 100%. Let's hope it doesn't happen, because we are in the midst of a, 13 more games in 40 days or something silly, right? 2 games a week now, all the way up to the World Cup, and every single game is tricky. You know, even after Brighton, we play Frankfurt again. That's a must win against Frankfurt at home. Then we play Everton at home, which, if we have aspirations of being in the top 4, top 3, top 2, whatever, title challenge, dream world scenario, that's a must win. Then we play Manchester United away. That's a must not lose. So, and then it goes on. It doesn't get any easier. For me, guys, I'm slightly concerned about the Eric Dier news. I'm very sad about the Gianpiero Ventrone news, and I am a little bit hesitant to say that I trust in Conte enough to presume that he will make some logical decisions and play a 5 across the midfield on Saturday. I hate to say this, because a lot of Tottenham fans at the start of the season were presenting a narrative, and I was part of this as well, 100% part of this, where we were saying, well, we didn't play well against West Ham, but we improved on the result there last season. We didn't play well against Chelsea, we improved on the result last season. We lost the game to Wolves last season, we improved. We lost the game to Southampton last season, we improved, etc. Brighton away last season, we won. I'm less confident this season going into this game than I was last season for the same result, or the same fixture. I'm nervous. I don't think a draw is necessarily a bad result, but I think we can win. But for me, as a fan, without all of the in-depth knowledge that Conte has, I still believe that if we go there 3-4-3 with a similar team apart from Emerson, and Eric Dier is not on the pitch, then I think we could get in a whole lot of trouble in that game. Could be wrong. Hope I would be wrong. I've been wrong many, many times in the past, guys. But it's just my opinion for what it's worth. Would love to know what your opinion is on this one. It's been a long chat, 20 minutes. I'm going to let you go. Sad condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Ventrone, and for everybody else, keep your spirits up, stay happy, stay healthy, and forever, guys, as always, bye bye.